Welcome back, y'all. We are back for another division preview. Last but not least, it's the NFC East. Y'all know we got to bring it extra for the NFC East because that's where the squad lies, the New York Giants. So we got a man cave in the building. We got Coach Ed Gladney from Coach Ed's Amazing World of Sports. And of course, the one and only Big Pat Sports Talk, man. We're going to break it all down NFC East style. Let's go. Y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe for the Aboriginal Sports Network. Intro time, baby. Let's do it.
Rising King, the Raisin Man.
All right. We are back, y'all. And we're going to set this NFC East thing off with the champs of the division. That's the Philadelphia Eagles, the champs of the NFL. Philly winning it all. You see them up there on the screen. Yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow personally, but they did do their job. They handled their business, beating the Kansas City Chiefs, coming out with a 14-3 record last year for the Philadelphia Eagles. Bet MGM got them at 11.5 this year. 4th overall strength of schedule. But with Philly, it's one of those things where are you comfortable now? You know, are you satisfied? Are you full? Because some teams, they win, and then they kind of, all right, we got eyes. We good now. And you kind of, you don't have as much focus going into the next year. And to be honest, we're going to break it all down, but I think focus is probably the only thing that can get in this team's way from repeating, man. They still got a pretty dang on good squad. But we want to talk about the past before we head into the future. So we got to take a look at last year and take a look at what they did. Coach going to break down the stats. Pat going to come in. And we got our special guest, Man Cave, going to give his thoughts on the Eagles season last year. Let's get it, man. Cave.
Yo.
Yeah, Cave up there. Cave. I was about to say, Cave, you up, man.
Hey, I'm up, man. Yeah, man. It hurts me to say it, man, but the Philadelphia Eagles, man, the Super Bowl champions, NFC East champions, man. I hate the Eagles, man, because like I said, I used to live out that way and stuff like that as a Giants fan in Eagles country, man. But you got to give respect where respect is due, man. They won the Super Bowl. And they won it with one of the former players that we had on our team, man. They wanted the engine on their team from last year was Saquon Barkley, who helped deliver them another Lombardi trophy. Because without Saquon, I don't think they would have won that Super Bowl. But he was the deciding factor that got them over the hump, man. So hats off to them. Like I said, they had a good season, great season, like I said. But we'll see how they do this year, man. It's going to be a different season, different year and stuff like that. We'll see how Jalen Hurts, what he's going to do now. Like I said, he has all the weapons like he had last year. Let's see if he can grow continue to grow and stuff like that. I don't care too much for Jalen Hurts like that, but he won a Super Bowl. That's all, So I gotta tip my hat off, So until somebody beat him and dethrone him, hey, gotta give props to the Eagles and stuff like that. And coming into this year, we'll see, man. Like NYG said, will they be comfortable? Will they be satisfied, or are they gonna be even more hungry to see if they're gonna come back and claim their make it a repeat champion and stuff like that? Because once you win one, sometimes you get a little bit greedy. And hey, we'll see if they're going to be greedy or they're going to be satisfied and their belly's going to be full. We'll see how much hunger they have this year, So, and last year they didn't have too much injuries and stuff like that. So we'll see, because injuries is part of the game and stuff like that. So the most healthiest teams always win the Super Bowl, most likely win the Super Bowl. So we'll see how they play this year, man. But it should be a good season this year for the other teams in the division. But hats off to the Eagles. Like I said, we'll see what they do.
Yeah. Cave, I'm with you, man. The Eagles last year, they went, they really just tore through the league, man. Once they got hip to what was going on, Jalen Hurts had his struggles earlier in the season, but once he got those struggles down and they gave that ball to Saquon Barkley, man, they ran through the NFL. It wasn't even close, man. The Eagles was super dominant, and we'll see what they do this upcoming season. Like Man Cave says, can they repeat? Can Jalen Hurts go out there and play Jalen Hurts football? Just drive the car. Don't do anything crazy. Just drive the car. Let Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, that offensive line and that defense hold it down for you, man. But Coach, man, what did they do last year, man, to prove why they were so dominant last year?
All right, thanks, Pat. When you sit here and you take a look at the numbers, you see why they're one of the top teams offensively and defensively. In terms of rankings for points scored, they were 7th. In overall yardage, they were 8th. Now, passing yards, they were 29th, but that's because of their run game. Pass touchdowns, they were 12th. Pass interceptions, they were 3rd. They're not throwing the ball that much, which is why it's so low. Rush yards, they were 2nd. Rush touchdowns, they were also 2nd. So they were very effective and a very efficient rushing attack. Defensively, they were 2nd in points scored. They were number 1 in yards allowed, number 1 in pass yards, 6th in pass touchdowns, 12th in interceptions, 10th in rush yards, and number 2 in rush touchdowns. So they did not allow teams to score touchdowns, and they controlled the narrative, especially in the red zone. So there you go, Pat. That's what the numbers tell you. Back to you.
Yeah, it was a pretty dominant year for the Eagles, obviously. But when you win, you lose. And you have some losses, key losses, that is, man. And we're going to take a look at who won't be playing for Philadelphia no more. Well, at least not this year. Couple ones I got highlighted. Mekhi Becton, I think, a big loss on the offensive line. He had a resurging season last year, of course. Considered a bust over there with the Jets. Able to get right in Philadelphia. Well, a lot of offensive linemen get right in Philadelphia. Who knew? But Josh Sweat gone. Bryce Huff gone on a couple edge rushers. Couple guys in the backfield. Darius Slay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson traded to the Texans. But the key loss for me is Mr. Brandon Graham, and he retired. And the reason that is because when you lose leadership in that locker room with a team like Philadelphia, I think that is what can ultimately derail them. And I truly believe that, because the talent on this team is undeniable. As much as I personally don't like them, you cannot deny the talent. But Brandon Graham in that locker room and being a leader on that defense is going to be a huge loss, especially when you got younger players behind coming up trying to take that spot. But who y'all got as a key loss for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, me personally, man, I'm going to be talking about another guy that's down there on that defensive line. That's Milton Williams, man. Milton Williams did a whole lot for this team last year, and it proves that the contract that he got from the New England Patriots one of the, I think, the top defensive tackle being paid in the league right now. Milton Williams was a force for those guys last year, man. He stuffed the run, did good in pass rush. And I think he was just a guy that everybody looked up to, even Jalen Carter and the other guy they got from Georgia. I think they looked up to him, and he did what he did. And he's one of the main reasons why they went to the Super Bowl. But Milton Williams is my guy. But Cave, who you got as your guy, bro?
For me, I'm gonna agree with both of you guys. I'm gonna go with Milton Williams. That's a big loss because he's a younger guy. You know, that's another one of the good stud defensive players that they had. That's gonna be a key loss for them. And also, if you look at the last couple of years, they don't lost Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, and Brandon Graham that you said. So that's three. They've void of three leadership talent right there. That's really gonna take them down. Now it's gonna be on these kids now. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, they're gonna have to step up and see can they take over the mantle, you know what I'm saying? So hey, Brandon Graham and Milton Williams, big losses for the Eagles, man. Like I said, on that defensive line, we're gonna see how this defense gonna play this year for the Eagles and stuff like that, see how these guys respond.
Well, for me, the key loss is actually going to be Mekhi Becton, all right, because that's an offensive lineman. You guys know how I am, especially with the trenches. He came over there after not performing well with the Jets, and he performed well with the Eagles. They moved him inside to guard, and with his size alone on the inside, it made it hard for defensive linemen to get around him. And then once he got his hands on the defensive lineman, he could just move them wherever he wanted to. He always had help on either side of him, so it wasn't like he had to stand. He was at the tackle spot, and he had to worry about a speed rusher. He could handle everything on the inside, which afforded him the opportunity to get the big money. So what are you going to do to replace him on the inside going forward? So that's my key loss.
Yeah, I agree with all you guys. Milton Williams, of course, going to the Patriots. Edge rushers too, man. Josh Sweat, Bryce Huff, nothing to sneeze at, man. Guys, Darius Slay. The Eagles are losing guys that's been there for a while, and so they're really turning over the roster and kind of just right before people's eyes, without losing a beat, so to speak. But let's see who they picked up, man. Yeah, of course, re-signing Saquon Barkley had to be one of the top things on their list. You see, re-signing a lot of their players. You keeping your own. Of course, you got Lane Johnson, Zach Bond, Cam Jurgens. But they picked up a key piece from a division rival, and that is Azeez Ojulari. Remember, I just talked about Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat leaving, and Bryce Huff as well. They got Azeez, snatched him right off the New York Giants. Thank you very much. And they can plug and play him in there to be a situational pass rusher, man. I think that is one of the key additions here as far as an actual addition, because a lot of what they did was guys that they just re-signed that they needed to re-sign, because you see what they lost. But Pat, Cave, Coach, who stands out to you, man? Who's gonna make a difference on this Eagles team this year out of these key additions? Talk to me.
My guy is not exactly a addition. It's just a retained Zach Bond. Man, that dude was flying all over the field last year. They switched him from the edge to the middle linebacker, and that was probably the best thing that happened to his career, man. Like, he was flying around last year. He was making tackles. He was making interceptions. He was filling the hole. He was blitzing. Like, he was doing everything for this team on this defense, man. And I think he was a key to that defense last year, the reason why they were so good. And they retained him, gave him his money, and now they got a beast at every single layer of that defense, man. This team is loaded, bro. and Zach Bond, and he's a captain. So Zach Bond's my guy, man. But Man Cave, who you like on these key additions, man?
For me, I think the key addition for me, I want to see what Kenyon Green is going to do. If he's going to be in there to replace Mekhi Becton, see if he can have the same effect. I think he came over from the Chargers, I believe, Kenyon Green and stuff like that. So I want to see how he's gonna fit in with the Eagles. The Eagles have the best, well, probably the number one offensive coach in football, Jeff Stoutland. You know what I'm saying? So he creates magic over there. So he's gonna go over there. Let's see if he can help that Eagles offensive line continue to go. And as far as Azeez Ojulari, yeah, I read today in the paper he might be slipping down the depth chart behind Josh Uche. So I don't know how that's going to turn out for him over there in Philadelphia. I don't even know if he's going to make the squad or if he's going to be a key piece for them. But the stranger things have happened. Injuries and things happen. He could slide back in there to the top. But for me, I think it'd be Kenyon Green. See how he does as on that offensive line for the Eagles. To see if he can replace Mekhi Becton.
Well, there you go. That's who I also had is Kenyon Green. As a possible replacement to Becton. He has good size, strength. He's athletic. Now, he had his issues in Houston. Sounds familiar with Becton. Just not a position change, but when he's in proper position, he's able to lock on to any defender. So, there are things that he does need to work on, but he's in the right situation, get coached up properly, with the right coach. You'll even have Kelsey over there tapping in from time to time to helping him. So, I'm with Cave in terms of Kenyon Green being the addition that I'm looking at.
All right, man. I agree though. Kenyon Green. I like Kenyon Green coming out of college. Wanted the Giants to take him. They didn't. But now he's on the Eagles. So now you got to deal with him. But let's see how they did in the draft. I mean, as if a loaded team couldn't get better and add more talent. Good googly moogly. They had a draft, folks. They had a pretty good draft. Jahai Campbell, another linebacker out of Alabama. I mean, you get a safety, that you can coach up to, take Gardner Johnson's spot. But my guy, Ty Robinson, D-tackle out of Nebraska. You see him right there on the screen, man. That's the guy for me, man. We talked to him at the Senior Bowl. This kid, I'm telling you, we talked about them losing, some of the defensive players on that front line. Ty Robinson, getting Ty Robinson here, it's going to be another one of them dogs in the waiting, man. This kid can play. Mac McWilliams, kid out of UFC, cornerback, one of my underrated prospects in the draft, man. He's going to be a solid slot corner for the Eagles for years to come. And I mean, they get more guys from Georgia. Get your boy Kyle McCord from Syracuse. Guy, Antoine Powell Ryland, 6th round out of Virginia Tech. That might be a steal too. But who y'all got, man, for this Eagles? I mean, this pisses me off, man, to be honest with y'all, man. Good God, man. Who y'all got? Which one of these guys y'all that y'all got as y'all's favorite pick? Or do you think it's gonna make the biggest impact on the team going into the 2025 season? Talk to me.
Yo, my guy's gonna be Jahai Campbell, man, the linebacker from Alabama. He gets to play alongside Zach Bond, two guys that could fly over the middle of the field and make plays, man. This Eagles team know what they're doing, man. They've been doing this for the past 5 to 6 years, man. They just stack talent. And with this guy, Jahai Campbell and Zach Bond flying all over the middle of the field, getting busy out there, and then they got the pass rush. When you got a pass rush, when Azeez Ojulari is a threat not to make the roster, that is vicious. Then you got these two young guys just flying all over the field. Then you got the DBs in the backfield, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. The safeties getting busy, man. Yeah, but get back to the subject. Jahai Campbell, man, that's my guy. Man Cave, who you like with during that draft? Because it's hard not to like everybody on that draft list. But who you like, man Cave?
I tell you, man, that draft. Look at the Eagles draft again, man. Look at all them players they drafted. But the one guy that stands out to me, man, is the safety out of Texas, Andrew Makuba. If anybody watch, I did a couple of Texas games last year, man, and that guy was all over the place, making plays, interceptions, tackles, whatever you name it. He was a former Clemson player, went over to Texas, and like I said, he's a playmaker, man. As if the Eagles don't already have enough playmakers to add to that backfield that they did last year in the draft with Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, now to get Makuba and stuff like that. So they quietly filling out that back half of that roster, man. And these guys just keep on doing it. But when you look at this draft, here it goes again. Eagles, 3 offensive linemen in the draft again. So Jeff Stoutland's going to have more players to work with and more players to work with and stuff like that. And they're just going to keep that offensive line going. But Andrew Makuba, that guy is all over the place. That's my guy, man. And like I said, great pick for the Eagles and stuff like that. But we'll have to see him in the division too. But, Coach, who do you got?
Thanks a lot, Cave. I originally was going to say Antoine Ryland. I did a breakdown on him coming out of VTech. Elite pass rusher. But I'm going outside the box. And I'm going to give you an unpopular opinion. And it's a UDFA out of Rutgers. You guys have the video up?
We got you.
He's right now working with Jason Kelsey. And you see, first of all, size and the ability to move. Coming into Rutgers, he was over 400 pounds and got down to roughly about 340. So he's a hard worker. He's committed to his craft. And as you see right here, they're giving him help with Kelsey working with him. So he's the one, and all indications that I've heard from Eagles fans is they're very pleased and they're hearing good things about him coming out of camp. So don't be surprised if he makes the roster and plays for the Philadelphia Eagles going forward. I hate it, but he's a Scarlet Knight, and I love what he brought to the table for Rutgers Nation. And unfortunately, we're going to be on the other side to see what he brings to the table. Size, dedication, hard work, as well as athletic ability. Oh, yeah, and by the way, he's a Jersey boy out of Trenton, so he's ready to get grimy with it. But that's all I have. Back to you, NYG.
Shout out to Trenton, New Jersey. Man, let's go. Speaking of the roster, look, man. Like I said, it's going to take a lot for this team not to be good. When you look at this roster, just look at the talent on the offensive line. Look at the backups. Don't even look at the starters. When you look at the Eagles, just look at some of the backups they got on a offensive and defensive line. Skill position-wise, they're good, especially on offense. Back end of the defense is solid as well. But they are missing some veterans. Some young guys may have to step up a little bit. Looking at you, Ringo. But I don't know, man. To me, it's just going to come down. It might just come down to, guess what? Coaching. Might come down to coaching. So we're going to add a little wrinkle in our little preview today, since we got Cave, Coach, Pat in the building, as well as myself. Y'all hit that like button. We're going to break down this roster. I want offense, I want defense, but I also want coaching, because coaching is going to be key, especially in the NFC East. So I'm going to bring the fellas in. Cave, can you get the offense? Pat, can you handle the defense? And Coach, it's only right if you do the coaching. Take it away, fellas.
Great. Yeah, as far as the offense, man, we all know the Eagles, what they're going to come out the offense. To me, they're a run first team. Then they're going to pass the ball. So that's going to be Saquon Barkley is going to be the bell cow again. The engine behind their offense. And then you got, of course, the All-Pro AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, the wide receivers. Is the 1 and 2. And then the tight end Dallas Goedert, who I'm surprised he's still here because I know he was in trade rumors and stuff like that. But when he's healthy and he is playing, he is one of their key players. Dallas Goedert always gets them out of them third down conversions and things like that. He keeps them chains moving, And then in the offseason, they went out and got, A.J. Dillon, the filling for Saquon, you know what I'm saying, for those, the tush push. So the tush push is going to be even more effective, even more this year. With they're going to come in with their jumbo package. And then you got the offensive lineman as well, the number 1 offensive line in football with Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, who false starts on every play but don't get called, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, Elaine Johnson, man. So they come back with the offense, man. Like I said, the offense is going to be it's going to be hard again to defend, but if you can stop that run, that's the first and foremost. You got to stop that run on the Eagles. You can stop the run and make them pass the ball. You might have a better chance of them throwing the ball, try to get some interceptions. But, if you don't get it, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith will be in the end zone for touchdowns and stuff like that. So you got to get to the quarterback. And if things break down, Jalen Hurts can use his legs and use his wheels to get around. So that's going to be a tough offense to stop, man. So that'll be their theme again this year, man. The offensive side of the ball is going to move this team, man, because that's where they got more veterans on that side of the ball, on the offensive side. So I'll turn it over to Pat and see what he sees on the defensive side.
Yeah, man, this defense, defense kind of tough too, man. You got Jomo, George Davis, Jalen Carter, Nola Smith, Zach Bond, N'Kobe Dean with Jahai Campbell backing them up, with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. backing them up. Man, this is crazy. Kelly Ringo is the only weakness I see on this defense, and guess what? You got Sidney Brown and Blankenship flying around back there with Jalen McCullum behind them, and he was actually decent too. Then you got Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. Man, listen, this team is stacked. Good Lord, what you gonna do with this team, man? They can run the ball on you, so that means they can control the clock and get you off the field. You can get caught in the whirlwind with this team, offensively and defensively. It's not too much you can say. Only way you're going to be able to attack these guys if you can run the ball, try to get to the edge, and attack people like Nolan Smith on that edge. But if Zach Bond and N'Kobe Dean and Jahai Campbell are as advertised, they're going to be flying right behind them. So it's going to be tough, man. But the only thing I can see weakness is maybe the coaching. So, coach, talk to him. What about the coaching, man?
When you sit down and you think about Nick Sirianni, people have complained about him. A lot of Eagles fans early on wanted him gone. Sounds very familiar to Giants fans with Tom Coughlin when you really think about it. And even if you want to go back to Bill Parcells when he first came on, having a losing season, in 5 years he's just a tick under 10 wins per game. Now, during the Super Bowl era, only 2 other coaches have a better winning percentage than him: John Madden and Vince Lombardi. Think about that. Only 2. He's at a 0.706, while Madden is at a 0.759, and Lombardi's at a 0.738. So, with all the coaches that have been through the NFL, that's amazing in itself right there. So that talks to him being an efficient and an effective leader. And you have Vic Fangio as your defensive coordinator, veteran who's been in the NFL almost 40 years in itself. Now, Kevin Patullo is new to the game as an offensive coordinator, but he was the associate head coach the last 2 years. He was also the passing game coordinator from 2021 up until 2023. So he's familiar with what's going on in that organization. So now it's going to be on him. But when you have talent like that, it's really not hard to do. Just make sure you put them in the right position to do what they need to do. So as a coaching staff, they're elite. You have to respect what they have as a coaching staff, starting with Nick Sirianni. So, but that's all I have to say. Turning it back over to you, NYG.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta respect Nick Sirianni. I mean, going to 2 Super Bowls and winning one. I mean, I don't like him, his little smug self, but you have to give what respect is due. And Vic Fangio, one of the top defensive coordinators in the game, I'm right there with you, Coach. We'll see what the new offensive coordinator comes up with. But Eagles coming off the Super Bowl, y'all. They're getting 11.5. They're gonna earn it. They're gonna earn it. You know, I mean, they're gonna earn it. I think they have their toughest stretch might be the back end, that week 10 to 18 stretch right there. I mean, you got Green Bay in there, you got Detroit, you know, Chicago, Dallas, the Chargers. You know, they can play Buffalo, Washington twice. So 11.5 though. 11.5 means this team has to win 12 games. 12 games. Looking at this schedule, the thing with the Eagles though is, as tough as the NFC East is, they're the best team of that division. So the schedule, as long as they can handle division opponents like the Giants and Cowboys, they should be good to go. But what y'all think? 11.5? Is it what y'all thinking? Y'all think the Eagles gonna take a little step back, or are they gonna be right there again on the over? Talk to me.
Over. I think they get at least 12. I think they beat the Cowboys twice. I think they beat us twice, and I think they beat Washington at least once. So if you're going 5-1 in your division, they can beat Green Bay. Detroit might surprise them. They can beat Chicago. I would say this: the Chargers might surprise them if they could get that running game going. Buffalo, I think Buffalo can get them too. But that's only 4 losses right there. Who's the other team? Who's the other 2 teams that can stop them from going under?
On Tampa Bay though.
They gonna get Tampa Bay, man. They gonna get Tampa Bay.
Bay is a tough team. And
they
they
gonna
play
get
Kansas
Tampa Bay
City and the Rams in the beginning of the season too. But
yeah, they gonna get Kansas City again, because Kansas City is not ready for that run type game against them. You'll see. And the Rams, I think they get the Rams, and I think they get Denver too, because Denver is built like them, but the Eagles do it better.
I think they play the Chargers.
Yeah, the Chargers may surprise them later on in the season on the Monday night, but I don't see them losing more than 5 games. I got them over at 12.
what you
At
got,
the
Cade? Over or under? 11.5 for the Eagles.
I think, they've been averaging like 13 wins for the last like 5 or 6 seasons, man. So yeah, I got them with the over and stuff like that. The only thing that's going to stop that is if they get some injuries, key injuries and stuff like that. You know, that's the only thing. But looking at that schedule, it's a tough schedule. But like I said, they're a good team. They better than just about everybody. So they'll be able to get that 12 win. You know, if not, they'll get 11 wins. But hey, that's close enough to 12. I can't see a scenario where they go like 8-9 wins for the season and that's it. You know, like I said, unless something just go off the rails and injuries happen, they decimate it. But yeah, I could see that, man. Hey, they got some tough games. Green Bay, Detroit. That's going to be a tough game with Green Bay and Detroit. You know, right there, like you said, the back end of the schedule is going to be the toughest part of the schedule. The front end is not so much with Kansas City early on, Kansas City and the Rams, but they'll be able to. But that back end of the schedule, that's when things start happening. So we'll see. But yeah, I got them over 12 with 12 wins.
Coach, what you thinking? 11.5.
The question is, are they hungry enough to go for Miami? That's going to be the question. Are they hungry enough? Because they have the talent. We've just broken it down. So they have the ability and the talent. So are they going to try and push for that? That's going to be the first question. Because you guys made excellent point on where you can get their losses. I think they're going to be over. So the question right now I'm asking myself is this team legitimately going to try to say that they're one of the elite and say that they're pushing for what the Miami Dolphins did? Because there was one other team that made it to the Super Bowl in that category, but we saw what happened. So right now the question is, because they can beat every team on their schedule. There are teams that they can lose to. There are teams they can lose to. I'm not going to say it. Kansas City, yes, they can, but I'm like Pat. I don't think they're ready for it. Los Angeles is going to be confident because they played them tough in the snow during the playoffs, so they're going to say we can play with them. Tampa Bay they're sneaky good, but they're also a team that, you know what, Philly, if they're focused and they have their mind right, they should be able to handle them. I mean, again, even Detroit. Their toughest games, though, are, to me, in a sense, are all on the road, and they're more so AFC teams. Because you can look at Kansas City, Buffalo, the Chargers. To me, those are the most tough. Now, I'm not saying the division games aren't tough. They are. I don't care what your record is in division. They're always going to be tough. But the toughest ones, to me, are on the road. Other than that, if they can handle those, I'm really wondering, are they going to push for the Miami Dolphins record?
No, they're going to get beat once. They're going to get beat.
They're going to lose.
I didn't say they would. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, based on the schedule and the talent, and if they have the mindset, see, this is where the coaching comes into play and getting them right. And saying to them, look, fellas, we won a Super Bowl last year. Let's see if we can go back to back. And on top of that, let's take it one game at a time.
They go to undefeated with the fourth hardest schedule in the NFL.
Yeah, that's
bro. They might be a dynasty for real. They might reel off 3 or 4.
Think about what you guys just said. They already have veterans, but they're replacing it with talented young talent. I just showed you a young undrafted talent too that they're bringing into the fold. So it's like, whoa. And we've had our discussions pre-show. It's like, whoa, this team. So that's why I posed that question. Can they? Do I think they're going to lose a game or two during the season? Yes. I honestly think they're probably going to be around 12, 13 wins. But if it gets late in that season and they can get past and they're undefeated going past the Chargers.
Yeah. If they undefeated at the Chargers, they're going undefeated.
Hold on. But then you got at Buffalo too towards the end of the season. At Buffalo, that's a tough one.
But no, that's not what I'm saying. But see, now you start to say to yourself, whoa, wait a minute. Where we now have something that nobody else could possibly do other than one other team. So now you change your mindset, because I know what everyone says, once you get late, you start resting people, so on and so forth. But when that all-time record comes into focus, no, you're a competitor. You're egotistical. That comes out to play. NYG said it. Sirianni is smug. You don't think he's going to want to go for that? I know me as a coach, I would. So
the only thing that could really derail them, man, is if AJ Brown gets upset. That's the only thing.
Chemistry and injuries.
Yep.
Chemistry and injuries. That is what will stop the Eagles this year. But I'm with y'all. Over 11.5. But I'm saying under repeating as Super Bowl champs. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I'm sorry, y'all. It's the Aboriginal Sports Network. I'm finna co-sign.
I agree.
Eagle shit.
I
But
agree,
nah,
man.
this is a very good team though. But I'm with the over 11.5. But yo, we gotta get to those Commanders, man. Those Commanders, they are nipping at the heels of these Philadelphia Eagles. Was right there in the NFC Championship game with these dudes, man. Came up short. We're gonna see what they did, and did they improve, or are they gonna lose again to Philly? We're gonna find out, man. Y'all hit that like. We be right back.